Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to talk about kit from Special Hobby. It comes in 1/32 scale and it copies AH-1G Cobra. This edition is named as Early Tales over NEM. And as you can see, it's a high-tech kit, so it means we'll get various bonuses inside together with a nice plastic from ICM. And this is actually the first combo set. We already reviewed the second one, but somehow we missed this one, so we are trying to make it up, let's say. And here is the review. And of course, this is the commercial sample, so it means that's the final shape of this kit, and you'll get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review. Box size is pretty much standard for limited edition high-tech kits in 1/32 scale from Special Hobby. And here you can see comparison with my hand. Box art looks quite nice. Here we have the, let's say, short or a small picture of the bonuses which you will get. So masks, PE parts, resin parts, and 3D printed parts. So all this stuff should help you get even more features in your model, and this is really great in my opinion, because in 1/32 scale such upgrades will be noticeable. And now I'm trying to open the box because it's a bit of a tight fit. I don't know why, because usually Special Hobby boxes are easy to open, but not this one, evidently. So just give me a second. Okay, so here it is. And what do we have inside? So inside we have quite a, I would say, interesting design of the box, because as you can see, all the additional accessories are packed into a separate plastic bag, or actually the cardboard box, and then we have plastic bags. Then we have here decals on the separate, let's say, stage. We have assembly manual on the top, and we have the plastic sprues here in one plastic bag, just like in the original release from ICM. So for the plastic, this should be, I would say, familiar kit for you if you've seen our previous video reviews. We reviewed several versions of this helicopter, so there is nothing new in the plastic. And that's not a bad thing, because, I mean, the plastic itself proved to be a really interesting offer in such large scale. So here, for example, we start with a sprue which is supplied in 2 pieces, and here we have actually various external equipment for this helicopter. We have rocket launchers, which will not be used because Special Hobby provides you with the upgrade made out of resin. We also have some landing gear parts. We have also various minor elements for the rotor. So it's just a matter of careful assembly for these parts, but everything what is separated into 2 hulls, it has guiding elements inside, so it shouldn't be a difficult task to do. Next we continue with the sprue, which carries large blades for the main rotor. Of course, each side of the blade should be glued out of 2 hulls, but again, we have guiding elements inside. Note that we have also 2 versions of the tail fin, so be careful and choose the right version of the parts. We have also here external rivets, and also we have various parts for the pylons, for the nose section. And here you can see one-piece tail rotor, which is molded as a single-piece part, so that's why it will be easier to install it. And here you can see the parts from the opposite side, so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Okay, next we continue with the sprue, which is also filled with large parts. So here we have the landing gear rails. We also have the lower section of the fuselage, which is really nice because you won't have any seams in this area. And in my opinion, in a large scale, it's quite important feature because it will make whole model a bit more convincing. And again, we also have the separate links for the towing rack. Here we have also instrument panel, and here we have some parts for the main rotor. So the main rotor should be quite a complex assembly. That's why I would recommend to pay attention while you will be assembling everything together, because it's important to get the right fitment between these parts. It will be quite a noticeable element of the whole model, let's say. Next we continue with the clear sprue, which you might have heard was packed into a separate plastic bag. So here we have canopy parts, and everything looks fine. And as you remember, we have masks out of the box, so you shouldn't be worried about masking these parts. It's just a matter of applying all these masks and painting them over in the right shade. And the last gray plastic sprue here is this one with 2 fuselage halves. As you can see, again, I remind you that the tail fin is molded separately. We have here a one-piece cockpit top. And it looks really nice. We have here pre-molded features for the side consoles. We also have some interior parts. Here you can see these pilot seats, which are molded as a single piece parts. And of course, for the fuselage halves, we have guiding elements. So again, it will simplify the assembly process because you will have everything aligned in a right way. Next, I'm trying to understand what we have to do with this clear plastic bag, but okay, so first of all I will show you this 3D printed parts which are packed into a separate box or blister box. As you can see, we have the foam protecting them, and here on the rear side you can see that they are 3D printed. So as far as you can see, Special Hobby is quite serious about this technology. They keep introducing it in all recent releases, and this one is not an exclusion from this rule. Now I just need to open this box so that we can check everything together. So just give me a second. I just need to take it out from this box. Let's slide out the protector, take out the foam. And what's even more surprising is that all the parts are fit onto one resin base. So they were printed on one base, and you should carefully separate them before installing into the necessary spots. But as you can see, they look quite nice. You can also notice the size in comparison with my fingertips. So they will definitely require careful installation with help of tweezers, because otherwise it will be really difficult or almost impossible to get them into the right spot. But overall, I like what I see here. So definitely a good addition to improve the features on your model. Next, we continue with this box, which was packing the resin parts, as you remember. So as you can see, they are all packed into one plastic bag. It's a Ziploc bag, so I'm going to open it right now, and we will check everything one by one. Maybe I will put everything onto the table. I won't be bringing it together so that you can see everything at once. So just give me a second. Okay, so we are going to start with the pilot seats. Here you can see that they're casted as a single piece parts. And this is really cool because it will simplify the assembly process. But again, I would recommend to play with painting here, and maybe also with some weathering, because it will give you a better looking result. And of course it will be visible, and it doesn't matter if you plan to open the canopy or not, still it should be noticeable improvement. And note that all the paddings, they are molded separately or casted separately. So here you can see one, here is the second one, and I wonder where is one more. So I guess that's the only one for the rear seat, maybe. And here you can see the ones which are placed here on the lower section. Next, we continue with the rocket launcher. So these ones are supplied in two versions. So here is the first one. And next we continue with one more, which is a bit smaller, but still it's nicely casted, and you can see the external features here with your own eyes. We also have separate resin wheels for this towing rack or landing gear. So as you can see, they are also casted as a single piece parts, and they look quite nice, definitely better than what we get out of the box. So that's something what is appreciated in this scale, and of course with some careful painting you will get even more impressive result. Next we continue with the armrests, as far as I remember, or they should be, yeah, these are actually armrests. Next we continue with thin parts which will be placed for the cockpit. Maybe I'll zoom out so that you can see more parts. Here we have controls which are molded or casted separately. Here we have parts for the nose machine guns, Gatling guns. Next we continue with various pipings for the engine bay. Here we have the parts for the cockpit again, for the cockpit area. Next we continue with various controls for the cockpit. Here we have various equipment which will be also installed inside. Another really cool bonus is two helmets which can be placed in the cockpit. Obviously you do not have to use them, but this is a really nice touch which will give some idea about the size of this model. And also here we have some thin parts which will be also used in the cockpit. So as you can see, a lot of stuff which should be installed inside, and mainly cockpit will be the one who will benefit from all these additions. And in my opinion, this is really a decent upgrade because it will improve all the features on the model even more, and of course it will be a noticeable upgrade because in such large scale the cockpit should be visible even with the closed canopy, as I said before, so there is nothing to be worried about that you will assemble it and it won't be visible on your model. What I'm doing right now, I'm trying to open the staples which are holding in place decals, and there are also PE parts, so it should be interesting to see what is actually tackled with help of PE parts. So just give me a second to take them out. As far as you can see, decals are printed, I think, in Edward, because I do not see any mention of any other printing company. And recently Special Hobby is, let's say, working together with Edward, so I guess this one is not an exclusion from this rule. So maybe here I will tear apart, yeah. So what do we have here? This plastic bag actually features not only the P threads but also mask sheet. So we will check everything one by one. I just need a second because it's kinda interesting package. We have everything packed all together: the clear film, the P thread, the parts for external features, and this is quite confusing in my opinion. So I will place these resin parts aside. Here's the film which I was talking about. Obviously it should be handy for the target side. Here you can see it. Next we continue with unpainted PE threads, which will be handy both inside and outside. So here is the one, and here is the smaller one, which is a bit tricky to install as far as I can see, but it should be worth it in my opinion, so definitely spend some time with it. And next we have one more PE thread. This one is unpainted, and here we have, actually these two are unpainted and this one is pre-painted. So here we have cockpit parts with glazing over the dials, and I guess this feature actually hints that PE parts are coming from Edward, and you shouldn't be worried about any quality issues because it should provide you a really nice result out of the box. And again, this is something what you do not get with the original plastic release, so that's why I appreciate getting it here, and it will considerably improve the cockpit. Just the seat belts should be worth it, let's say. And next I'm opening another plastic bag. Here we have masks and decals. So masks are pre-cut, and here we have them for the canopy from both sides. Frankly speaking, it is a bit surprising to see masks only for the canopy, because we had the one-piece landing gear wheels, and these ones will have to be painted by yourself. Next we continue with decals. So all features for several marking options, as far as you can see, they fit onto one decal sheet. And we have the stencils here, we have various symbols, even the shark mouth here, as you can see, it's pre-cut into the necessary sections so that you can bend it around the nose area. And again, printing quality looks good. If I bring it closer, you can see that stencils are readable. It's not just some, let's say, symbol which is not clear what is written there. It's proper writing which can be read. And now we can move on to the assembly manual. So this one is printed in form of large brochure. Here you can see that we have short history note. Next we continue with the parts map here. Note that many parts on the original plastic will not be used because they will be replaced with the resin counterparts, or maybe they will be not necessary, not needed in this particular version. Next we continue, or we start the assembly process with fuselage house. So here you will have to decide which marking option you would like to choose, because it will define the choice of the tail section. And then we move on to the pilot seats. So as you can see here, we have to combine a lot of parts together. And next we install all this stuff into the cockpit tab, and here you have to work again with more PE parts. As you remember, we have instrument panels upgraded, we have seat belts, we have side consoles, various control elements. All these things will get their portion of metal. Next, we install all these parts between fuselage halves. And here you have also to decide whether you would like to open the canopy or close it, because you will have to cut the resin part accordingly. No section is glued out of two halves, as you remember, so be careful in this area. And here we install the lower panel. Next we continue with the side wings and also the tail wings. Again, we choose which railings we will use because it will also depend on the marking. Here we install the clear parts. Note that even clear parts get in the PE parts for the handles and various equipment which is placed on the windscreen. Here we have several assembly options for the open or closed canopy accordingly. And next we continue with the engine bay, which can be also opened. Here we install the main rotor and also the towing rack. And here you can see the external equipment. Of course, we have masks application guide, so as you can see, inside and outside. And here we start with marking guide. So this one comes from 1971. This one I'm not sure from which time, it's not written here. Next we continue with this camouflaged version, which looks quite nice, and it's from 1967. This one is from 1971 with a shark mouth. And one more here. It's actually a stenciling guide for all marking options which are included here. So for markings for a 1/32 scale, it's not that bad in my opinion. And whole kit should be already available, but it's a limited edition. I would recommend to hurry if you want to get one. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this release. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.